I'm Glenn McGinnis, and this is Outburst. This week, despite concerns over new variants, do you support easing restrictions?
No, not at all. Not easing restrictions.
I have no problem with that.
I think that the vaccine has been proven to be effective on all variants.
We don't want it to get out of control again.
But next, when the federal budget is tabled, it will be the first for current Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland, and also the first federal budget tabled in this country in 2 years. It will be critical in mapping out Canada's strategy post-pandemic, and some saying it will be the most significant federal budget this country has seen in generations. So when it is released, what is the first thing you'll be looking for on the spending list? Our question. What would you like to see included in the federal budget?
I certainly don't want to see any cuts. I want to make sure the government continues to support people who need it, who have been suffering through this. A lot of people have been without jobs this whole entire time, so the debt can catch up later.
Nothing, as long as we get a balanced budget. I have no wishes.
Initiatives for young families, affordable kind of cost of living. And I'm a big environmentalist, so I think some more investment, or as much investment as we can, into renewable energy and, climate change stuff.
Looking after the homeless so that Winnipeg will end up with no homeless people. And also do something about addiction and drugs.
Dental and, free feminine hygiene products and just like more school programs, more after school programs, more outreach programs.
I think support for seniors, for better care and dignity of services given to them. I also think for Indigenous people, especially around water and health care, and I think around issues related to addictions and mental health. That would be a good start.
I think we need to look at post-secondary education, funding for students, opportunities for people to re-entry the workforce, to maybe career re-entry programs.
Infrastructure, more infrastructure, and support for long-term care and more childcare.
More funding for mental health and free education for around finances and our currency. I'm a bit concerned about the stimulus that's being poured into our economy and the value of our dollar after all this.
Mental health. Just the resources for addictions and mental health, I would say, probably.
A definite way to get rid of the deficit, period. It's a big problem, not only for Canada, but for the rest of the world. We got to get ourselves out of the hole without hyperinflation.
More money for agriculture. And more money for this COVID problem. And why can't we make the antidote here? Like spend some money on a place where we can make the antidote.
I think the Indigenous world, on reserve, this is my own personal, I don't think anybody should go without clean water and a decent place to live. And I think there's some issues right across Canada. And the drinking water thing to me is just unbelievable in our country in this day and age. That shouldn't happen. And I think there should be more response to that.
Federal budget, more money towards First Nation institutions and reserves.
Well, healthcare is a big one for sure. And I would like to see better educational values, like through schools and stuff like that.
Just vaccines. More rollouts that we can create vaccines in our own country to supply ourselves.
I'd like them to help the seniors at some point. They never do. And they help everybody else, and they don't really give any help to the seniors. I'd like to see them increase the amount they give people every month. They can give millions and millions of dollars to other countries, but they can't seem to look after their seniors.
I guess priorities right now is like more vaccines for the new variants, I guess, because we never know what will happen in the future. Like maybe there'll be more COVID variants. We're not sure about that.
And they need to help the homeless, the veterans, you know, some of them they're on the street and whatever. They need to help to invest on the homeless and get them off the street.
My opinion is in a country like Canada, there's no reason with so many resources and a pretty small, relatively small population that there should be people on the street in this cold weather. And I would like to see the federal government and, you know, in concert with the provincial governments to allocate proper resources and make good policy around that.
You know, building the economy back up for sure. However they're going to do that. I mean, pouring money into it is one thing. Lockdowns and things like that are having a huge impact. So I think it's the government is stuck between a rock and a hard place right now because they have to try and keep the economy at least in some semblance, you know, of workability, if you will. So yeah, I think what they're focusing on right now and just trying to work through it until the end of this. And there won't be an end. It's going to become an endemic. But really, you know, I'm happy with the focus that they're using right now, not just for myself, but for all of those people that are hugely impacted by what we're going through.
I would like to see some resources put into the mental health sector. I think it's very important, especially with the pandemic and a lot of the things that people are dealing with at home. Yeah.
Sure. I definitely agree with that as well. Affordable housing. Affordable housing, because that's one of the more difficult things to get, especially right now in Ottawa. It's like to get a room in someone's house is around $600 to $700 to start. So affordable housing is definitely one that's difficult right now. We should look into funding that in the federal budget.
Lots of money for projects who are environmental friendly. Like I hope that environment will be a priority, as well as equity, social justice, and not so much for you know, the pipeline and all this kind of industry.
I guess pandemic relief is probably a big one. Homelessness is a huge problem in Ottawa, and yeah, that's all I can think of off the top of my head. So.
Our lives have been changed profoundly since this pandemic was declared 1 year ago. And the restrictions put in place not only in this country, but around the world have made things that were so easy at one time, like traveling or seeing friends and family, out of reach. But as the weather slowly turns into spring, then summer, the hope is most of us can break free finally from this pandemic. So, when we're good to go, what will be on your to-do list? Our question: what is the first thing you will do after restrictions are lifted?
Travel. Yeah, I had a few trips lined up last year that got canceled, so I think just getting that traveling back in and being able to finally, I just graduated from university, so finally being able to get out and travel around the world would be awesome.
I want to go to a concert.
You missed this?
Yes. I've never been to one, so.
Oh, we're going south. Dominican or Florida or both.
Just travel around Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to visit Montreal and I think Omega Park. It's a gorgeous place, so we would like to go there, the first place.
Yeah, same to talk. Excellent.
Yeah.
The first thing I'm going to do is probably travel somewhere in the States. Probably go to Florida. Something like that.
Ooh, I've been waiting for this one. I want to go to a club. I just we turned 19 in the middle of the pandemic. I want to go to a club.
That is fair. I want to travel. We couldn't really go anywhere, and I'm excited to be able to go back home when I want to and not have to worry about quarantining when I get back. So it's just gonna be good to not have to worry about traveling restrictions. That's a good one. And yes, also bars.
Travel, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, both of us are from Ontario, so I would consider this a bit of a travel, but obviously we quarantined and stuff, so it's nice being out east here and being able to not worry so much about COVID.
well, obviously take the precautions, but in terms of case numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
But definitely traveling abroad.
Yeah. Probably go out to eat.
Well, I mean, just get back to normal life, hopefully, you know, be able to go and do things like events and, you know, spend more time doing fun things, going to the cinema, not having to wear a mask everywhere, you know. It'd be good just to get back to normal, really. Yeah, and not have to worry about work as well, you know, keeping a job, not have to worry about it. So, yeah, it'd be good to get back to normal.
Go to a show,
Yeah.
see a band play. I don't know, we're so lucky here in Halifax.
I know.
That
it is hard because we haven't, honestly, like,
I'm trying to think what's not available to us right now. And like
I mean,
music.
travel.
Travel, yeah, probably travel.
But, I mean, I think both of us are lucky enough that our family is all, most of it are here.
Yeah.
So I've not experienced, like, not being able to see my family. And I know that's important for, like, there's so many people who have not been able to be with their family.
Yeah. Travel,
yeah.
see bands play.
I don't know. We might venture out a little further, go out for dinner a few little more. No major travel plans.
I'm either going to see my daughter or she's coming here to me. She lives in Europe.
Probably see my grandparents. I haven't, actually, no, it's not probably. I will see my grandparents. I haven't seen them since the summer. And I really miss spending quality family time with them.
Be able to go out and do things, go to the beach without having to worry about wearing masks and, like, yeah.
See my daughters and have them come over and actually have coffee in my house. That would be probably the first thing I would do.
Big family barbecue and hopefully the same night that I can get onto the ice and get back playing hockey.
Drive somewhere else.
Yeah, probably go up to Edmonton or someplace where we different for a few days.
I want to go home. I want to go home to the Philippines, visit my home there. I really miss them.
I'll go back to the way I was living before. You know, going to sporting events, hanging out with friends and stuff.
Probably still doing the same thing and quarantining and staying away from people for a little while at least. I think it's just kind of become just part of the way I am right now. And I think I'm going to be really uneasy to kind of just go back to living life the way it was.
Hug my grandchildren.
Been a while?
Been a while, yep.
Visit my family.
Are they in town or are they?
No, they're out of town. Just like get together with my siblings and my parents just to have a visit. It's been a long time. Videos are good, but they're not the same as in person.
Meet with family. For us, family means a lot, and it's been tough. The grandkids and you know, not being able to meet with them over a meal, and that's one of the things in the heart of hearts. That's important.
In what year were women first sworn in as officers in the Royal Canadian Mounted Police? Is it 1964, 1974, or 1984?
I would say late 1984.
I'm going to say 74.
1984.
I think she's right. 1984.
64.
1974.
1974.
Absolutely correct.
Women were first sworn in as RCMP officers in 1974 after the force began accepting applications for regular police duties. 32 women became the force's first female officers and were sworn in at the same time all across the country before heading to Regina to train at the RCMP Academy. Women had been working alongside men as fingerprint and lab techs, matrons, and jailers since the 1900s. Today, about a fifth of the RCMP's officers identify as women. And in 2018, Brenda Lucky became the first permanent female RCMP commissioner, the highest ranking position in the force.
The easing of restrictions, particularly in southern Ontario, which has seen a high infection rate throughout the pandemic, can be a double-edged sword. While it enables people to get on with their lives, provincial and federal health officials have warned us that dangerous new variants still pose a threat. But with additional vaccine deliveries expected in the coming weeks and months, and with more and more Canadians getting vaccinated, is loosening the rules the right way to go? Our question.
Despite the concern over new variants, do you support easing restrictions?
If it supports opening up Manitoba businesses, then yes, I would say that I do support it, yeah.
No, not at all. Not easing restrictions.
Yes. Yeah, I think businesses should get back to more normal. I think they're taking all the other precautions they need.
I think where we are right now is a good approach. We don't want it to get out of control again, so.
Keeping the restrictions the way they are now until we feel we're clear.
Oh yeah, we have to get herd immunity. Viruses are with us for as long as we live. So,
as long as the vaccines start speeding up, yep.
I'd love some things to change. I know we need to move slowly, but I'd like to see numbers increase, maybe from 25% to 40% at least occupancy in restaurants and facilities. I'd like to see swimming pools open. I think there's some things that we can do as a group, and I think we're doing really well. So we need to keep moving forward.
I support focus protection and restrictions around that. The elderly, the vulnerable, anyone with pre-existing conditions or comorbidities. I also feel like there's not enough information or encouragement for people to look after their health and eat properly. Not enough information about nutrition and our immune system on a government level.
No, I don't. But I'd like to see some more people getting the shots. Like, I'm from Southwest Saskatchewan and nobody's got a shot yet. So I'd like to see some more antidotes to the COVID.
No, I don't actually. I figure, we're starting to get ahead a little bit. The numbers are starting to drop. Why not, keep what we're doing at least? Yeah.
Well, we need restrictions for everything at this point. It's just where we got to be.
No, I support more vaccines coming out.
I have no problem with that. If people take care of themselves, I think it should be okay. I don't have, I wear my mask or whatever, but I mean, I'm not gonna get that worse too much. But if they release it, because there's a lot of small businesses having a hard time because of that. So maybe if they loosen it up a little bit, I think that'd be great. That'd be good. That's my opinion anyway, so.
I think at this point, it is a little bit of a good opportunity to ease up the restraints, just knowing that there are a lot of small businesses that are unfortunately not doing well. So maybe what it looks like is a little bit more sidewalk pickup and things like that. But yeah, I think easing restrictions will definitely benefit economy, but not necessarily personally. So I'm a little bit concerned about easing things up, but I'm ready.
I don't know if it's a good time to ease up on restrictions. I don't think there's a need for further restrictions that we've got currently. I think that the vaccine has been proven to be effective on all variants, and so we don't treat it as too much different than what's currently out there.
Personally, I do not, since the numbers are going down. I think it's probably good to stay put for a little while at least.
Ease up on restrictions? No, I think they should add more restrictions if not, because this COVID virus, it's getting harder on everybody, and the deaths are going higher. I think they should take more precaution, yes.
I don't think it's a good time. And I understand for the business people, I understand what they're going through. My heart goes out to them. But where I stand, a life means more than money.
I don't know about easing up, no. I don't believe that they should be eased up just yet. Our numbers are starting to come down just from what I've been listening to on the radio, and that's where we want to stay. Lower numbers, not higher. I believe that raising the restrictions might cause the numbers to go higher. We're close. The vaccines are coming, and it's time for just doing your due diligence, I think.
No, I do not support easing restrictions because we need to make sure that no one else gets infected with the illness. And by easing restrictions, it seems that more people are getting affected by the illness and more people are getting sick.
I guess not, because, you know, because of the new variant, I guess people should be more cautious and like people should like be more abide on the rules or like restrictions so that people can be safe on their homes or like on their countries. Because COVID is not, like, we are living in a very different world right now and it's not really normal. So I want to go back to the before, but I don't think we're going to be like normal again. I don't think so.
As we mentioned earlier, it's been 1 year since our lives were changed by this pandemic. But every situation could have a silver lining. And if there's one thing the pandemic did teach many of us, is to think and do things differently. So we took to the streets to ask Canadians what constructive wisdom they have amassed since COVID-19 began. Our question:
what positives can we take from the pandemic?
I think people have come together more. I think people are working together more. You know, people are wearing their masks. People are getting along. People are doing what they're told. Real sense of community and all that.
Well, the positive thing about the pandemic is that the family life has really increased. We talk to our families even far off. The media is very strong these days. We can use our cell phones, our WhatsApp and video conferencing and all those areas. We talk to our friends and families almost every day, which is a very, very plus point. Before we didn't have time for all that. So the family life has become stronger, I believe.
I think like learning to appreciate normalcy before, everyone will have a better appreciation for that and just everything that you can do. I think everyone's been outside a lot, which is really nice to see everyone out for walks.
Yeah, getting families back together, that's been big. Everyone's spent more time together. It's improved the work from home environment, which I think has been something that's been coming in development for the past 5 to 10 years, and it's really made that step up, along with just the appreciation for healthcare workers.
I think there is, yeah. There's a lot more time that you kind of spend thinking about, like with family. You spend more time with family, or there's like talents and stuff. Like people picked up musical instruments and, you know, spent more time on things like that and sort of things like that. But more negatives than positives, I would say.
Yeah, I think that we really had to work together and kind of be, especially in Nova Scotia, just one big community that all just did everything that we could to shut out the virus, the Atlantic bubble, everything like that. People trying to be safe together and make sure that you know, our fellow community members are safe with us.
Respecting people's personal space is a big one. I feel like we're definitely more aware of more people around us. I feel like there's a gratitude for what we actually have here in Atlantic Canada, about the things that we can explore here. We don't need the big Cuban trips and that sort of thing.
Also, too, I think it gives people an opportunity to have more times to themselves so they can focus on skills or what they want to do with their free time and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's creating a lot of job opportunities, especially in Halifax, where it's hard to find a job, and now you can apply everywhere in the world, so people can just sit from home and work, and I think it's great.
It highlighted the need for more social services, and a lot of people that may not have been thinking about it prior, but still more to be done. But I think it made more people think about it than that weren't previously.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, it definitely has like highlighted those issues that kind of were there before, but the pandemic has kind of made them worse or more apparent.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been like looking inward on themselves as they've been like, a lot of people are in isolation alone. They're learning a lot more about themselves and like who they are and what they need out of their life to like feel fulfilled. And I know that's not a super important aspect, but I have seen a lot of people go through a lot of self-growth just because they've had so much time to reflect. And I think that's definitely a positive that's coming out of this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we've also all been learning to go back to the essentials, enjoy the simple things, enjoy the little things, and yeah, care more for the people closest around you, not taking learning to not take some things for granted. And even like here, where we get it very easy compared to other places, just learning to enjoy the freedoms that we do have.
I think a lot of good has come out of it, such as washing hands, proper hygiene. My family, I have 3 kids. None of us have been sick for a whole year, and that is a blessing.
Overall hygiene and cleanliness, I think, is definitely going to be boosted. I think people are more aware of, things they touch and what they're doing a lot more than they used to be.
I do. I think that we do have learned to appreciate, I think family time is so important, and I took it for granted. I know I did, and I'll be really happy to be able to just have people over and not be so concerned and not worrying about every little thing like that. So,
well, I guess we learned a whole bunch of lessons here. It's not like everything was a negative, but there's a lot of different ways to cope with what we had to put up with, and it's not all negative. It's a lot of positives to be had out of that, and we got to realize them for what they are.
This is a reset for our world, I guess, because everything has been before COVID, like travels are so much easy, but now because of COVID, like the earth has been very, like, I guess naturally, earth has been in a reset. So I guess that's really good.
We all can value our freedom a little more into the future and appreciate it, what we have.
Yes, I think we're going to appreciate family more, and I think we're going to go back to some of the basics of family time, game time, spending time together, cooking meals together.
Just learning that we need to do this together, and if we can accomplish stuff like getting through a pandemic, we can accomplish anything.
I think that you probably have a little more an idea of the importance of family, a bit more of how important social interactions are with people. I think the appreciation towards going back to have social events will be a big deal.
Thanks for watching this episode of Outburst on the Cable Public Affairs channel. I'm Glenn McGuinness. If you have any comments about this show or any other show, you can find us on social media. You can also find us on our website at www.cpac.ca. It's your turn to speak up, and we're listening.